everyone, and welcome back to Sip and Spin. My name is Skylar, and over here in a cute cardigan is Brittany.
Hello! This is a variety podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
What's on your necklace?
It's a dragon.
Cool.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good. You seem a little tired, maybe. Long week?
Very long week. I had my psych evaluation this week, and so really I only got one day off this week. And even then, I spent it, like, running errands and all sorts of stuff. And the day I had my psych evaluation, I think I drove into town 8 times.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, because I went for my psych evaluation. And then I kind of hung out downtown until I needed to pick my sister up from school. So when we got back home, then I had to go take her to the Wednesday night thing that she does. And then I went back home and then found out that I had to go pick up my cousin. Like, as soon as I got back to the house, they were like, well, you gotta pick up your cousin. I'm like, okay. So I went back into town to pick up my cousin and then drove all the way back. And then I had to go back into town to pick up Shelby and drive all the way back. So I'm just like, yeah. So I've had a long week. It's not as bad as last week.
Good. At least there's that.
How was your week?
That's good. That's good.
Surely not.
I thought I heard him for a second. And then I was like, do they go off this late? I didn't think so. But I heard, like, I could have swore I heard, and then, like, someone's like, oh, I fucked up.
Because that's what I thought I heard it, too. And that's why I was like, we both looked at each other. I was like, surely not.
We're being haunted by the church bells. And we both heard them for a split second, I feel like. So I don't know what that was about. But yeah, no, it was good. Good week. Well, what are you drinking today?
So we got a drink we like. And so I'm drinking a tropical smoothie.
I mean, hey.
Because
they have good smoothies.
The alcohol store was closed. But also, it's a drink we like. And I like smoothies, so.
No, they do have really good smoothies. They used to be my go-to for work lunches.
Oh, yeah, that DoorDash and tropical smoothie.
Mm-hmm.
And they have edible straws.
Yes, which I do appreciate. See, we still got the noises. I'm drinking red wine. So cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, and
yeah, that's good.
The place we were talking about today, or at least the place I am talking about, would definitely judge how I drink my red wine. So that's okay.
That's fine.
They can't judge me. I know I deserve to be judged.
Also, I would like to give a little caveat to start, or disclaimer, warning, heads up.
Okay.
This is gonna be a shit show.
Great.
I maybe have like 3 pages. Most of it is introductory on how to pronounce things, and then there's like a few basic words. I don't even have phrases or like the verbs that I normally have this time. And I will say, I blame this.
Okay.
I blame this book.
We have new beef, apparently.
Because the way that they set this motherfucker up is so stupid and does not, like, flow very well at all. And I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense.
Call them out.
So, but I can't because my Latin one is really good. And my Korean one is really good. It's
same, like company and everything?
Yeah, it's like the whatever language made simple. It probably has a different writer, because each one has a different writer of who wrote the book, but it's from the same company. Like, from the same, like, all of it is the same. It's the blank made simple.
Did you say it was your Latin one and your Korean one?
Mm-hmm.
Or they have the same, like, setup, though? Like, do they all 3 have the same setup and it just doesn't work for Italian? Or are they all specialized differently by the writers?
They're all different. Like,
okay.
Especially with,
I was just trying to see if it was, like, a by-writer thing or if the company as a whole had the same setup for all of their teachings.
But maybe it didn't work for this one. Yeah, I don't know. Like, they're different.
Okay.
With my Latin one, it had, like, background, basic pronunciation, because it's mostly the same. And then it had, like, it started off with, like, you know, declension, and like noun declension, and sentence setup, and grammar, and how the grammar works, and how, based off the part of the sentence it is what makes the declension happen, or how the verb works and like that kind of thing. And then it like gave you examples on like how to declense this noun and how to conjugate this verb, and like gave you the definitions, and like very well set up. And this is just like the most random shit. And so with the week that I had and the way this book is set up, I just don't even, you're gonna learn jack shit today.
Okay, well, our topic today, let's get into what that is also. So we got culture, travel, and language. And the way we usually do that, Skylar picks a language, which apparently did not go well this week.
Well, I didn't even pick this language. I asked Lexi. I said Lexi.
Why didn't you pick the language you wanted?
I said Lexi. What should I do this week? Should I do a part 2 to a language I've already done? Like, you know, do some more Mandarin, German, or Latin, because those are the ones I've covered so far. I said, or should I do something new? And she was like, do something new. I was like, okay, perfect. I was like, what language should I do? And then she said like Chaldean, and I was like, I don't know Chaldean. She's like, it's like a subset of like a Greek language. And I was like, I can do Greek. I cannot do Chaldean. I've at least studied Greek before. I could get us through a Greek lesson pretty well. I was like, how about I just list the ones I know? And she went, okay. So I started listing them. And she was like, ooh, I've been obsessed with the mafia recently. Do Italian. And I went, that's weird, but okay.
So yeah, we're doing Italian.
But then again, I did for history want to do a whole history episode on the mafia. So I can't really say that's weird, but okay, because like same.
I mean, I like mafia romance novels, so like I also can't judge anything.
Yeah. So I say like that's weird, but okay, but it's really not, because I'm in the same boat. I cannot judge. Lexi, I'm sorry for saying it was weird, because it's not, because me too, girl. Me too. But we're also weird.
So in the first half, I'm going to do a little bit of just an overview of culture, maybe some travel of Italy. If you don't know, Italy has a long history, so I'm not going too deep into it, because there'd be a lot to unpack there. But I do have some, and then we'll go to Skylar, and she can maybe teach some language.
Hopefully, maybe.
Or she might just complain. Who knows? Or both.
I like to complain, and if you haven't learned that by episode 50 fucking whatever, I don't know what to tell you. I be bitching a lot. Your nails are cute.
Oh, thank you. I decided to try to do them one day, and I did them. And they've lasted for a while.
Are they like acrylic press-ons?
Yeah, they're press-ons. But I feel like a rat can, because I'm just constantly like beating my little nails together. Like, so I'm not used to it. So I'm just walk around my house like
schemy.
Yeah, I feel like a little raccoon, but it's fun. Anyways, I guess we should get into this.
Yeah,
it's already been 15 minutes.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. Nothing is new. Like, this is how it always goes.
Yeah.
So, since I do not know Italian, I am going to butcher some of these pronunciations and words, but that's what Skylar's segment is for at the end. So I kind of have it set up similar to how I did Germany.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like some like broad, just kind of overview facts, and at the end I have like a couple of legends that I thought were cool that I dove into, and then like one little tidbit about traveling there. Are you that cold? There's a blanket behind you. You can use.
I'm okay.
Oh my god, I'm like dying.
It doesn't help that I'm drinking a smoothie.
That is true. See, it doesn't help me being hot. I'm drinking wine. Wine always makes me...
Like, we should switch.
You don't like this wine?
Mm-mm. I do not. Is it a Cabernet or...
You know, I don't remember, but I think it is a cab.
Okay.
I've had it for a while.
Okay, gotcha.
And I don't even read them anymore. I just open them. Richard buys them for me, and I just open them. He asks me what color I want, and I tell him. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Clearly, the Italians would hate me, and I'm sorry. But so, according to the Italian National Institute of Statistics, Italy is home to approximately 59.6 million individuals. This was as of January 2020. Italy stretches some 117,487 square miles. It's a peninsula. I think we all know this. It's also, shaped like a boot. A boot. And here's where my pronunciation comes in. Great. It's bordered on two sides, of course, by the Adriatic, the Ligurian and the Tyrrhenian seas. I'm not sure about those last two. I know Adriatic, but the other two, I don't think I've ever known how to pronounce those seas. And then to the north, it touches France, Switzerland, and Austria. The official language is Italian, and then it has many different dialects, kind of like we've talked about in a lot of our other language segments. The inhabitants are also overwhelmingly of Italian descent, and that is about 96% of the people who live in live in Italy are Italian. The main currency is the euro, which I did all these today with my new nails, and I can definitely tell I'm not used to it. Oh my god. The main currency is the euro, and this officially replaced the Italian lire in the beginning of 2002. Italy is a republic that is led by a prime minister and a president. The capital city is Rome. The Vatican is a separate country within Italy, which, kind of mentioned earlier, we have done a whole episode like this on that. So if you're interested in more about that, you can go listen to that episode. It was like one of our first.
It was the second culture, travel, language.
Okay, so yeah, we've done like a whole thing on Vatican. I did a whole thing on Vatican City. She did Latin. I think it's a Lord of the Rings reference.
Yeah.
There and Back Again, a Catholic tale.
Yeah, a Catholic tale, yeah.
So,
There and Back Again, a Catholic tale.
it's actually one of our more popular episodes, which is weird. And I'm like, oh god, the Vatican is coming for me.
It's all those Catholics.
So yeah, if you're more interested in anything about that, we go into a lot more specifics on Vatican City in that episode. And
also, I had a lot more to teach you in Latin, because the book was set up better.
I'm sure it will be fine.
But we will.
Yes, if you want to go listen to Prime Skylar, go listen to her teach you Latin, and then come back for Italian. See the difference.
Yeah.
If you are an Italian citizen, you can vote at age 18. Unsurprisingly, Italy's ancient history was dominated by the Roman Empire, and like I kind of said, I'm not going to talk about any of that because that's a whole episode or 5 in and of itself. But just, yeah, that happened. Okay, moving on.
Okay, can we pause?
Yes.
So, I saw this post, and I showed it to my coworkers, and none of them found it as funny as I did.
Okay.
So, I'm going to talk about it here now, because I feel like it's relevant.
Okay, great.
So, it was someone being like, I can't believe that, like, September, October, November, and December aren't the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th months. Because, you know, the prefix, like, octo means 8, the prefix, like, you know, it makes sense. And then the next person was like, yeah, whoever fucked that up should have been stabbed. And then the next person went, good news! I thought it was very funny.
I appreciated it. I'm sorry no one at work did.
No, they were like, wait, what?
From 1870 to 1922, Italy was a constitutional monarchy with a parliament elected under limited suffrage. And then in 1946, after all the shit with Mussolini and the Germans, a constituent assembly was elected to draw up plans for the republic, and now Italy is a republic. Italy has been dubbed the world's, quote, living art gallery, which makes a lot of sense because so much has happened there. There's so many famous people from there. Throughout all of Italy, you can find ornate, gorgeous marble flooring, Roman ruins, mosaics, Baroque tombs, Greek temples, so much more. It's living history. Go there.
Go to Italy.
And make me jealous. Go to Italy.
No, we're getting our free castle.
There are a lot of castles there. It's also, of course, home to many famous writers, musicians, painters. It goes along with why it is a living art gallery. From Dante, Ovid, Sophia Loren, Vivaldi, etc. So lots of famous people. It's also a nation that takes how you dress very seriously, which also makes sense because it is home to many world-renowned fashion houses, including Armani, Gucci, Versace, and Prada, many more.
I've also talked about Versace.
We did. We also have a whole episode about Versace. Well, half of an episode about Versace.
Yeah.
Not a whole episode, but you get it.
True crime.
You know how we do things. We split.
This is how we do it every day. Not every day, every week.
And there's a quote from Emanuela Scarpellini, who is a professor of modern history at the University of Milan, that she wrote in her book, Italian Fashion Since 1945, which is, quote, In Sicily, they say, eat and drink according to your taste, but dress according to other people's tastes. End quote. And that's kind of her saying, like, that's how they view it in Sicily, in Italy, you know. You dress for others. Which I guess that would be pressure if you're in Italy. I would feel very underdressed, I feel like, anywhere I went in Italy.
But every movie that I've seen that is set in Italy, all the, like people who actually, like, live there and not, like, are visiting are wearing, like, board shorts and, like, a button-down patterned collar. And I was like, I could thrive.
That was really my only little thing about Italian dress or anything. But I did read also a lot, like, teenagers and people, they really don't dress differently than we do, like, American teenagers. Like, it seems glamorized when you think about it because what's there. And so they do, like we do here, you dress up when you go out to somewhere nice or, like, for a nice function or a nightclub. But we also aren't, like, America's trash compared to most of the rest of the world, let's be honest.
Like, you would never catch them in Walmart at 10 p.m. wearing pajamas. But on the broad scale of things, they don't dress that much differently, especially teenagers. But I just
younger people.
Would always see like the with the rolled up sleeves and the short sleeve button down pattern shirt, and I'm like, this is who I need to be with.
The next segment is why I'm like, this is who I need to be with, because of course another popular thing, you think of Italy, you think food.
Oh.
It goes in with that. I mean, yes, both of those are me, and that's why they're right next to each other. And I'm going to talk about food and then wine.
Yeah, that is also why I need to be. Those are my people.
So, food does greatly vary throughout, depending on the different regions, but it almost always centers around pasta, whether you're in northern Italy, southern, or even central. The main thing that central, though, is known for, that Americans kind of think is like all of Italy, is they are really the pizza place, is Central Italy. So if you want pizza, good pizza, probably Central Italy, because that's what their main thing is. And then in Northern Italy, the most common ingredients they use there are fish, potatoes, rice, sausages, pork, and different cheeses. And then there, the pasta dishes with tomatoes are really popular, as well as, like, many stuffed pastas. That's where you're going to get really good risotto. All of it sounds so good.
Manicotti.
And then you get to the southern Italy, and that's where just tomatoes rule. Tomatoes dominate everything. You're going to get them fresh. You're going to get homemade sauces that use a shit ton of ripe tomatoes. That's also where you're going to get capers, peppers, olives, olive oil, garlic, artichokes, eggplant, and ricotta as your most common. So, just it varies differently, but all of it's fucking delicious, and pasta is central in all of them. Which, like, you can't go, like, Italy pasta.
I love artichokes.
I do too.
A lot of people hate artichoke, but I love it.
I like Brussels sprouts too, and people hate that. Like,
I've never tried Brussels sprouts, so I can't say that I hate it or don't.
They're not that different, I don't think. It depends on, like, I don't want to eat, like, a raw artichoke necessarily, or a raw Brussels sprouts, but you can... Vegetables, I think you can make anything taste good, is how which is funny that I got that way, because my mom will not touch shit. She is not, I don't know who I got my eating from, but it was not my family, because they are scaredy cats to try new things. So I'm like, let me try it.
Gimme.
They're like, let me go to the country and try it there, because it's going to be so much better there. And, like, capers, I don't necessarily love some of the capers that I have, but I can imagine... in Italy, it would be fucking delicious because they know what they're doing. And, like, all the olive stuff. I don't even like olives, but I bet I would love an olive.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like olives. I do like olive oil, but I will try an Italian olive.
Same. Italy produces 1/5 of the world's wine. Cheers. Which is more than any other country. So that's not surprising.
They are on it.
We all knew that.
France second?
Probably, I would imagine.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But 1/5, that's... Oh, God. Just to be at a vineyard in Italy right now. I thought this was cool. The oldest traces of Italian wine were discovered in a cave near Sicily's southwest coast. And it was found in a known cult site called Monte Cronio. I'm probably pronouncing that so wrong. But... and the traces, the traces that were found, though, were over 6,000 years old, which I thought that was really cool. But it is like a known cult site, but they found wine traces there.
Speaking of cults.
Great. Are you in one? Because I'm still waiting for the day you tell me that.
No.
But
I'm not in a cult. But do you know Call Me Kevin? Post videos on YouTube, occasionally gaming stuff, music sometimes.
I don't guess so. I mean, maybe if I knew like a story or I don't know.
Okay. I watched 2 of his videos last night. One of them was, I met a cult in The Sims. So I watched that. And then he was like, oh, Stardew Valley, but if it was ran by a cult leader. And so he just had all these people come into a co-op Stardew Valley farm and just like led these people into doing all of the work for him.
That's funny.
And they all called him Dear Leader.
I will admit, I have definitely done a cult playthrough on The Sims where I started out like as nothing, and then I tried to get these townies to join me, and we like lived in tents, and eventually I would take money and make them go out and get money for the cult and like teach the religion with all these mods that I had, and I made up this weird ass religion, and the children just ran, like she was just banging everyone. No one else could have kids except like I just made it really weird. It was a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of really liked being a cult leader, and everyone would get so jealous, but then I'd have like free love turned on so no one could get jealous, but everyone was in love with the cult. Like, I got weird. Don't do it in real life, but it was fun in The Sims.
But yeah, I just watched, and you were like, I was like, oh, I gotta tell Brittany about that. Especially the Stardew Valley cult one.
That one is.
That was so funny to watch, and I highly recommend you watch that YouTube video.
Okay. I wasn't sure where you were going with. Speaking of cults, so I'm glad it was there.
It is a strange way to start a sentence.
Still, one
could
day,
be concerning.
You're gonna be like, oh, I almost joined a cult, or I think a cult tried to make me join. I was like, I'm not surprised. I'm glad you said no.
I probably wouldn't have said no.
I know. I'm just waiting for you to tell, like, or try to get me to join a cult with you. Like, hey, these people are really cool. So yes, they found traces in that cave. While this is the current oldest trace found in Italy, it's not the oldest traces of wine in the world. Researchers are led to believe winemaking got its start in the Near East around 9,000 years ago. So this one was 6,000 years old, but there's been like other traces that they think from 9,000.
Okay.
But so far, this is the oldest in Italy.
Okay.
That was ever found.
Like Eastern Europe or like Eastern Asia? Like Eastern...
I'm going to assume Eastern Asia. Mm-hmm. The way it continued. They never really said, they just said the Near East. Well, I guess it could have been.
Because if it's Near East, it could be close to Italy.
I don't know what they meant by Near East.
Okay. I was just curious.
That was just how, but yeah. I went to Asia just because I figured that's where it would be, because
that was
they're so far ahead of us.
Yeah, that was my first thought when you said the Near East. I was like, oh, like over like China or Japan or something.
That's what I thought too. And I think this was a CNN article it was from, so they could also meant Near East from like America. Like I don't know. I don't know who was Near East, quote unquote. Back to wine. So Italians believe that wine should be sipped slowly, which I don't know how to do. So again, they would hate me. They take pride in not appearing affected by alcohol. Drinking too much at once or appearing inebriated is in poor taste.
I can't say that I would sip it slowly.
No.
I have many times taken just a bottle of wine and just drank straight from the bottle.
Yeah.
But I do hold myself together pretty well.
And when you become an alcoholic, you get
good at it.
You learn the tricks.
And you learn your limits. Don't overdo it.
Yes. The most common toast is salut, which is to your health, or the informal. I'm going to pronounce it how they wrote out that you pronounce it. I hope I'm not being punked. But it's supposed to be pronounced chin chin, is the informal, like, salut. Or chin chin. That's what I read. Hopefully that is how it says pronounced chin chin. So I'm saying chin chin. But it's C-I-N-C-I-N.
Then yes.
Okay.
That is correct. Because in my pronunciation, when we get to vowels and the C's, you will see that anytime a C is before an I or an E, it is pronounced like the ch.
Okay. Good. I feel better. I was like, I don't know how legit this is.
You're like, am I being pranked?
I know. Stupid American over here. And also, now I'm just gonna be like, if you're dining in Italy, what a normal meal could be. Because I think I also did that with Germany when I did. Mm-hmm. So, this is how a normal, typical day could look like. So for breakfast, it was be typically bread and butter or cheese with a cafe au lait, which is coffee and milk. In Italy, lunch is the most important meal of the day, which I love this way of thinking. Like, I love this whole, like, makeup. Like, this is, like, oh, I wish I lived in Italy because this is the perfect day to me.
I would love to have cheese for breakfast.
Yes, like, I want bread and cheese and coffee. And I have that a lot. Like, I already kind of eat like this, which is why I'm like, they're on to something. And also, lunch is usually my biggest meal of the day and my most important meal of the day. So I love this.
See, same. Because normally I
do a light little breakfast, if at all.
Yeah, because I'm like, normally I don't ever eat breakfast.
But if I had the habit of, like, bread and cheese for breakfast, I'd be down with that.
Mm-hmm.
So lunch is the most important meal of the day. Most shops and businesses close for about 2 hours at midday, and many people go home to eat with their families, and then they rest for a bit after lunch. So they get typically 2 hours a day. Regardless of if you went home, or if you're at home, or if you're in a restaurant, lunch is an elaborate meal with many courses. Typically, it includes a soup, a main course, a salad, and a dessert such as cheese or fruit. Again, glorious. And then wine and water are served throughout the lunch, along with bread. Sometimes olive oil is the norm instead of butter at lunch with bread. So like a little bowl to dip.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So you don't want bread, like butter on top of all that.
Also, yes, wine and water throughout the lunch. Stay hydrated. Drink your wine, but stay hydrated.
Yes. And then when it comes to dinner, compared to like what we think as dinner time, it would be quite late. But dinners in Italy typically eaten around 8 p.m. or later.
That's my favorite time to eat dinner.
I know. And it's also usually just a light meal of cold cuts, bread, and cheese. And I'm like, this is my ideal day.
This is exactly what I want to eat all of the time.
I know. They're basically just charcuterie boards for breakfast and dinner, and also with lunch, but with some other stuff too. And I'm like, yes.
It's like lunch, you get your charcuterie board, you get pasta, and you get soup. And I'm like, give me all of this.
Like, I love it so much. And then we are Americans, and it's just, we talk about it, I think, every time we do cultural and travel, and I get so mad. I'm just like, we're just that hustle lifestyle. Everyone's pressure. Mm-hmm. You get a 20-minute lunch break at some places if you're lucky. We don't enjoy life like a lot of countries. Like, people just don't, we don't enjoy food like we should here. And it does make me really mad. Which is why everything here is just so, like, overly processed foods anyway, so why would we enjoy it that much? It's just...
Yeah.
For what's supposed to be, like, the greatest country, we suck when it comes to the important shit.
Mm-hmm. Because
family and
it's all
food.
It's all about work, and
it's all about money.
Yeah. And it's like, no, we need to enjoy the little things. Like cheese.
I know. Like, oh, God.
I'm thinking this free castle is getting more and more.
Yeah, I just want to eat my charcuterie breakfast and dinners and lunches in my castle and be left alone. Okay, so now let's also talk about the school system.
Okay.
Because obviously that's probably going to be better than ours too, right? So the school year starts in mid-September and runs until the end of June. Compulsory education begins at the age of 6 and continues to the age of 14. And then includes 5 years of primary and then 3 years of a lower secondary. Preschool is optional in Italy, and there are many free state-run programs. About 91% of children attend preschool, and then that's pretty much split 50% in public, 50% in private. The required education may be completed by attending state or non-state schools or through homeschooling. Students have to pass an exit exam before going from primary to secondary. That's really the only thing. So wherever you do it, you just have to pass that exam. Students attend secondary school for 5 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, which I also like that set up a lot more too, which is very similar to, I think Japan also does Monday through Saturday, but it's like shorter segments. Mm-hmm. Makes more sense to me.
You have more of a day to do homework and enjoy life after you get out of school.
Yeah.
You're not there for 7.5 hours.
Dead tired and drained of your will because also your school lunches suck. That's America. One day we'll have to do America, I guess.
I could just teach proper grammar.
We have American international English listeners.
Grammar rules.
It'll be really embarrassing when we don't know how to pronounce American words, because I already have that problem.
Addict.
I know. It's one of our... I'm so embarrassed. Some subjects taught include Italian, civics, history, geography, foreign language, science, math, technical education, art, music, physical education, and religion. Upper secondary education is available for kids between 14 and 19. So after completing the required education, they can follow courses lasting 3, 4, or 5 years. They have a choice. And then after that, they have the choice of entering higher education or employment at middle management level or as a specialized worker, which I think sounds really nice.
That's fantastic.
Right? So then if you do the upper secondary education, the schools are divided into specialized categories, consisting of classical, scientific, artistic, technical, and vocational. So the way that's kind of broken down based on a study is approximately 30% enroll in the classical, 35% in the technical, 20% in the vocational, and 5% in the artistic, which makes sense, unfortunately. But hey, it's still a nicer system than we have.
Mm-hmm.
Also, compared to America, the literacy rates in Italy are quite high at 98%. So, yeah.
And they're not even required to go.
Right? It's, yeah. Only until, 14?
Yeah, they are only required to go to school from 6 to 14.
Just makes you think. In Italy, typical business hours are from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., and then they have that usual the lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., and that's Monday through Saturdays. And almost, as far as I could tell, everything is closed on Sundays for the most part when it comes to businesses.
That makes sense, especially in Italy. It's a very heavy religious.
Which we will talk some on. Also, something that's a little different than we do in America. Typically, families share just one car. Scooters and motorcycles are the more common modes for, individual transportation. But typically, it's just a one car per family. But then if individuals want their own thing, it's a scooter or it's a motorcycle. But also, Italy just has, much like many foreign countries, an extensive public transportation system that includes trains that span the whole country. So also people don't even need their own modes of transportation, which really wish we had a train system, but whatever.
Or if we do have a train system, it's like $300 just to get it.
Yeah, but also we don't have a train that goes everywhere.
No.
Here, which I think would be, I don't see why we don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, for being America, why don't we have fucking trains everywhere?
Especially with all the, doing everything to get the railroads built, and then now we just don't even didn't expand on them, didn't use them.
No, because they need that gas money and...
Yeah, and only want to use it for, transporting goods so they can profit.
Because we're a greedy country. We truly are. Every time we do these episodes, we just shit on America. Every time.
We don't want to be here.
So, unlike American teens, Italian teenagers just generally don't get drunk for the sole purpose of getting drunk, nor do really anyone else, but especially the teenagers was a big thing. Since wine is so big there, teens it's just normal to drink, it's culturally accepted. They always drink socially at gatherings or with their families at lunches and dinners. It's just a thing. There's no getting blackout at 3 a.m. in a field for most Italian teenagers, unlike us. Just
you hear that, Brett?
No, great.
You hear that, Brett? Brett fell over in our cornfield after 4 Smirnoff Ices. It wasn't even like he was heavy drinking.
He's not Italian, I'm saying. It's just not a thing really there.
But ever since he's been in Japan, his alcohol tolerance has went way up.
The one thing that we do have up on Italy that I could see is recycling is much more common here than it is there. That's really all that I saw about it. I didn't see any reasons why. Maybe it's just not as necessary. I don't know, but we definitely recycle more here than they do. Homes in Italy usually have marble flooring throughout, kind of like I mentioned earlier, lots of the nice marble floor. It'd be very rare to find carpet in Italy. Main reason being the marble floors help keep the homes cool in really hot days because you just they have these also really heavy shutters. You close them, have the marble floor, keeps your house cold, which you're going to want. So it is considered common courtesy to greet people in the workplace, stores, or restaurants with an appropriate daily greeting. This can be something such as buongiorno, and then arrivederci upon leaving. Ciao is the informal greeting for both arriving and leaving. And then the younger people will sometimes use ciao ciao instead, which is just even more informal. Italians don't switch knives and forks when they're eating like we do. So if you're using both a knife and a fork to eat, the knife will always remain in the right hand and the fork will remain in the left. It's also considered bad form to leave the table to go to the washroom or for any other reason during your meal. It's always depicted in movies and TV shows, but yes, like Italians have frequent family gatherings. They enjoy spending time with their family. Family is a big fucking deal in Italy. And then, though over 80% of the population claim to be Catholic, the number of people who practice the religion is actually quite low from what you might think. On average, only about 25% of citizens actually attend Mass regularly, which is lower than I would have thought it would be.
You need to melt some.
You struggling with that smoothie? Ever?
Yes!
They also celebrate most Christian holidays. So the Epiphany is celebrated on January 6th, and this is basically something that's very similar to Christmas. So according to legend, Befana is an old lady who flies on her broomstick and delivers presents and goodies to good children, which I would love her. I would love her more than Santa. Like, can I switch? Can I have Befana? Or Bifana? I don't know. And I was going through just some other legends. That was the one that was mainly brought up, but there are a few, like, other Santa-like legends and traditions in Italy. On the Monday after Easter, they celebrate Pasquetta. I have no idea. And this typically involves just family picnics to mark the beginning of springtime.
Aww.
Which is nice. November 1st marks Saints' Day, and it's the holiday when Italians, they typically decorate the graves of deceased relatives with flowers. And then many Italian towns and villages celebrate the feast of their specific, like, patron saint. So whichever day that falls on, they'll do a feast or something for that saint. And then I have a few other little things, and I'm almost done.
Oh, you're fine.
So the next two things are just kind of, I thought, some fun little legends. And they also kind of tie in to where I did, like, sirens and stuff. So, a popular tourist destination, I'm so sorry I'm going to butcher this, the Cascata della Mamore, which is the Mamore Falls, basically, however you say that, and are a short drive from the city of Tirani. But this is the tallest man-made waterfall in the world, and it has a height of 541 feet. The structure was constructed during the Roman times, but there is a better local legend that I like more. So, this is the legend of these falls.
Okay.
Legend states that a nymph called Nera fell in love with a handsome shepherd called Velino. Their strong love angered, though, the goddess Juno, and in a jealous rage, she transformed the nymph into the Eponus River, whatever that river is. And then in order to be with his love forever, Velino then jumped from the cliff into the river below, and the falls were created as a lasting memory of their eternal love. So that's just kind of like a local legend, other than...
Aww. I mean,
it was built during the Roman times.
Yeah.
Which I think is cute. And sad.
Why were you so pressed, Juno?
When aren't the gods ever angry?
Why
At least one of them.
It wasn't like your mans was out there doing what he normally did. Like, it wasn't even him.
Honestly, you just gotta think, the guards are just always so fucking bored.
I know. But, like, normally she's pissed because at people when, you know, her husband sleeps with them, which I was fair.
Maybe she was just so jealous that they were so in love.
Maybe.
And she's like, I want that. So you can't have it either.
Bitch.
Oh, gosh. I didn't say that. Another legend, which they have, I thought was cute. A lot of their legends do surround, like, bodies of water. And there was another really fun one, but I didn't write it down, based on, like, a phenomenon that happens there with this thunderstorm.
Okay.
That happens regularly, which was really, I say fun, but it's actually a very sad story.
Oh.
I didn't cover that one, but I did do another body of water one.
Yeah.
So this legend surrounds Lake Carrizza? There's lots of Z's, I don't know. I haven't learned Italian yet. I need Skylar. So this is located at the foot of the Latemar Massif in the Italian Dolomites, and is a beautiful location surrounded with snow-capped mountains, fir trees. It's gorgeous.
That sounds pretty.
The lake is known, though, as the, quote, Rainbow Lake, because it just has a plethora of, yes, it's where the only gay people are allowed. But no, apparently it just has, like, all of the colors reflected in the water, so it looks like a rainbow.
Cool.
It's called Rainbow Lake. So,
And it's by the mountains.
yeah, it's gorgeous.
Why aren't we in Italy?
I know, right? They have a gay lake. But according to legend, Lake Carrizza was the home to a beautiful water nymph who would sit by the shores and sing to herself. One day, the sorcerer...
Me in my car. Send me in my car.
Yeah. You're a beautiful car nymph. One day, the sorcerer, Mazare, was traveling nearby, or the sorcerer of Mazare, I guess I don't know the sorcerer's name, of Mazare, was traveling nearby, heard her singing, of course, fell in love.
Oh, don't fall in love with anyone singing by a body of water.
However, this nymph would disappear into the lake whenever anyone approached her. She just wanted to be left alone in her gay lake. Leave her alone.
Fair enough.
Same. The sorcerer's magic was also useless in capturing the nymph. Like, they tried to take her against her will. Of course, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Fuck you, sorcerer.
But on the advice of a witch, the sorcerer cast a rainbow that stretched from Catinaccio to the Latimar Mountains with the intention of using the rainbow to attract the nymph. So he, like, put this big-ass rainbow over it, trying to lure the nymph out.
Dickhead.
His plan did work, but the sorcerer forgot to disguise himself, and the water nymph realized the rainbow was a trap, and once again disappeared.
Good.
The sorcerer grew angry, and in his anger, he smashed the rainbow, causing the pieces to fall into the lake, thus creating the beautiful colors still visible today, and why it's known as Rainbow Lake. She didn't get captured.
Good.
Great.
Leave
Learn
her
your
alone.
lesson, men.
She's just trying to sing by the lake. That's all she wanted.
I know, literally, she just wanted to be left alone. And then my last little tidbit
The audacity.
is something that I have seen pop up a lot, even before I knew we were going to do this within the past few months, about these little things in Italy.
I'm like, where is this going?
So, COVID saw businesses all over the world having to rethink how they stayed in business. Others completely shut down. We know this story. Some businesses in Florence, Italy, though, decided to use a tool of the past to stay in business. They did this by using centuries-old wine windows to hand out food and drinks. And I've seen a lot of people, like, show how you use a wine window, like, the past few months. They've been very popular on my TikTok.
Is that just a drive-thru?
Kind of out, like, it's just, when you're walking down the street, there's literally a wine window. You can get a glass of wine and just walk down the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, just literally little wine, like, so fucking cute. So, dotted throughout Florence, you can see, or you can completely miss them because they just blend into the architecture so well. These tiny openings, and I'm going to butcher it, unless you want to try. It's literally translated to little wine holes, but it's Buscetta del Vino. I'm not sure about the first word, but I'm pretty sure it's del Vino. But it just literally translates to little wine holes, which is what I'm going to be calling them from now on. So the small windows were used to sell wine to go during the Renaissance period, and they were, like, intended to be cheaper, direct-to-consumer alternatives for taverns and, like, other drinking establishments, or even private residences. If they wanted to make their own wine, it was their way to, like, hey, you want some wine? And it was also just a discreet way for merchants to, like, avoid paying taxes, also, because they could just, like, slip it through the wine hole. You know.
As one does.
But
what a way to live. Just be like, hey, everything's shut down, but, like, we all need our wine. Let's all have our community wine. Like,
Italy. Love it. But during the Renaissance, when they, like, were popping up, these were the merchants that were Florence's elites. They were the uppers. They had the means to do this. And so they had these foot-tall windows built into the street-facing walls of their residences. It was usually by the main entrance. A lot of them were designed to look like their front doors. So it was very cute, and they're all, like, unique, and each one is different. That was the history. In May, when Italy was easing up on their lockdown, though, during COVID, several businesses that already just had these wine holes in their buildings, but they weren't used anymore, decided to reopen them. They were like, hey, this is a cool thing we could, like, revisit. And some places had already done it every now and then, but it was never as opportune a moment as COVID was.
Yeah.
because it was great because people, even after the lockdowns were lifted, even today, like, people still want to remain that distance. And it's also, like I said, it's blown up on TikTok a lot. It's just so cute. It's charming.
Mm-hmm.
You go, you knock on a little window, or some of them have a little bell, you ring, and you just get a glass of wine handed to you, and then you give them, like, it's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
I would just love to go knock on a little window and get wine.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just wine, though, so the most they're used for are for wine, Aperol spritzes, ice creams, and sandwiches. Have since been served through these holes since COVID. Today, there are an estimated 180 little wine holes in Florence, though hundreds more are believed to have dotted the cities back in the 15 and 1600s. But they've, like, been burnt. Like, some of them were wooden. They just got destroyed. They got turned into mailboxes. Like, stuff happens. But there's about 180 of them. And although these were, like, widely reopened due to COVID, and you can actually go inside now, they kept them, and most people still do, like, prefer to do it, because, like I said, it's very charming, it's very cute, and you can still, like, keep kind of distance, and especially if you're, like, maybe a little nervous. Like, I get anxiety about going to new places, so if I had one option, and I would just be like, wine, please, it'd be great. So I've seen a lot of them on TikTok, and they, like, walk you through how to do it. It's very simple, very cute. You don't have to talk to anyone, and I'm like, that's what I want.
Yeah, and it's like, and if you're, like, out walking around and, like, you want to stop for a glass of wine, like, you don't want to have to, like, go in. You can just knock on the little window, get your wine, pay, and then just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a cute little thing, and that's all I have on Italy.
That's very cute. I like it.
Which, of course, is nowhere near all of Italy, but
yeah,
that would be
insane
this whole
to try
podcast.
and do.
Yeah, like, so
that's a new podcast.
Just a little, try to hit a variety of things.
New podcast idea.
Maybe you at least learned something about it. I did, so,
I did. I've never heard of wine windows. So I guess I'm here to try to teach you.
Let's do it.
I will do my best.
You got this.
Okay, so just like a quick intro, of course, like we know, Italian is a Romance language, and for me, Italian is somewhat easy to pick up on because of Latin, French, and Spanish, but it sometimes can get confusing because of Latin, French, and Spanish.
Naturally, yes.
But the good news is that even though English is a West Germanic Indo-European language, it has Latin influences. English is very heavily influenced by Latin, and which Latin is like the base for like Romance languages. So even though English is a West Germanic Indo-European language, you still can do really well. So English's grammar and core vocabulary are Proto-Germanic, which is why the German, like when we did German, a lot of the sentence structure is very similar to English because the core grammar is like very, very similar. But a significant amount of English vocabulary comes from Romance and Latinate sources. With that in mind, let's look at some similarities between English and Italian to like dip our toes in, get a little familiar.
Okay.
So many Italian words are spelled exactly like the English word, except with an additional vowel, usually A, O, or E at the end of the word. So problem is now problema, color, colore, and then list, lista. So it's literally just the word with another letter.
Yeah.
And then there are Italian words that have a vowel where the English word has a silent E. So like the word rose is now rosa. Or the word date, data. Guide, guide. Or guida. Sorry. So it's just, instead of having the silent E at the end, they just put a vowel there, a different vowel. And then there are some Italian endings of Z-I-O-N-E, which is equal to the English ending of T-I-O-N. So, like, the word conversation is pronounced like conversazione, because that ending is pronounced, the Z-I-O-N-E is pronounced like yone. So you would have, like, conversation, it's now conversazione.
Okay.
And it's the same with station, which is pronounced stazione.
Okay.
And then you have the Italian ending of the A with like an accent mark over it, or IA, which is equal to the English ending of Y.
Okay.
Popularity, you have popolarità. Opportunità, which is opportunity or popularity. Some words in English are just borrowed directly from Italian. They're just exactly the same.
Okay.
Soprano, fortissimo, adagio, pasta, pizza, espresso, cappuccino. It's exactly the same.
I mean, we're nothing if not original. So.
We're nothing if not thieves.
Yes.
So let's do some pronunciation. Vowels, you have A, which is the A in father, so it's pronounced like ah. So you have like data, which means date, and then the U is pronounced like the double O in boot. So you have like statura. I is the double E in feet, so like turista. And then you have two E's. You have a closed E and an open E. So the closed E is like the A in date. So it's like a longer A instead of a short A.
Okay.
So like teatro. Or you have the open E, which is like the E in met. So it's like So you have problema. And then you have the closed O, which is like the O in hotel. So it's like O. So you have colore, which is the closed O. And then you have the open O, which is like the A in thaw. So like the word opera in Italian, you would say opera. But you don't have to worry too much about the difference between an open and closed E and O, especially since it can vary according to the region. Like regional inflection, it's different.
Okay, yeah.
So when you have a diphthong, I think, two vowels together that make a combined sound, that's a diphthong, right?
It's been a long time since I had language class.
I think when you have two vowels together that make
the word sounds familiar.
I think it's a diphthong, but I could be wrong. But anyways, in UA, UE, UI, and UO, the U is pronounced like a W.
Okay.
In IA, IE, IO, and IU, the I is pronounced like a Y. So, like the UI in guida, it's pronounced like a W. So you have guida. And then in the word for school, it's pronounced like scuola because it's a UO. So it still makes a W sound. But then you have the O sound that makes the A and thaw. So it's like scuola.
Okay.
And then you have like pianista. So it's an IA. So it's pronounced like a Y. Pianista. Consonants. Most consonants are pronounced very similar to the English corresponding consonants. There are a few special cases. So C. C before A, O, U, or any consonant is like a K. So once again, like colore, it's before an O, it's said like a K. C before I or E is pronounced like CH. So like chow. Mm-hmm. It's CIA, so you would say chow. And then C, the combination CH only ever happens before the letter I or E, and it's pronounced like a K. So like Chianti. And then you have G. So G before A, O, U, or any consonant is pronounced like the G in rag, so it has a hard G. So like gala. G before I or E is pronounced like J, gelato. GH, once again, only before I or E, pronounced like the G in rag, like ghiaccio. GLI is pronounced similar to like, it's like one sound, and it's pronounced similarly to the LLI in William. So like tovalia. Mm-hmm. So the G ends up being silent. And then GN is pronounced like the NY in canyon. So signore or signora. So there's a G, but it's almost like it's just not there.
I gotcha.
And then H hardly ever appears, aside from the like GH and CH, and it is always silent whenever you see it. So to say I have, you would say ah, but it's spelled like HO. And then to say you have, it's spelled HAI, but it's pronounced like A. And then to say he, she, or it has, it's spelled AH, but it's pronounced ah.
Okay.
And then to say they have, it's spelled AHNNO, but it's just pronounced ano. So the H is always silent.
Interesting.
And then QU is always pronounced like the QU in quest. So quadro, that means picture. R is trilled with the tip of the tongue, but don't worry. If you can't roll your R's, most Italians can't either. So they usually say it like a V, or they use the French R.
Okay. I can't roll my tongue at all.
Me either.
But good to know.
So good news, you don't have to worry about it. There are workarounds. S is usually pronounced like the S and C, but if it's between a vowel or before a voiced consonant, it's said more like a Z. So like you have studente, just pronounced like a regular S, but then you have like sbaglio, so it's said more like a Z.
Okay.
Which, that TikTok that went around, because sbaglio means mistake. But you remember that TikTok that was like spagliato with Prosecco in it. You don't say spagliato. It's with a Z and the G is silent. It's said like sbaglio.
She wasn't Italian.
No, she wasn't.
They weren't Italian.
I don't know who.
They're from House of Dragons, but they're non-binary.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I think just one of the people said it.
No. It was.
But yeah, no, they're British. But
yeah.
I just thought it was interesting because I have always been saying it like because I knew like the drink that they were describing, the spagliato, it means mistake. Like it was made because it wasn't supposed to have Prosecco in it. So that's why it was called a mistake. But I just thought it was neat when it popped up. Like, I was like, oh, this is how you actually say it. So Z is like the TS in it, or if it's at the beginning of a word, it's pronounced like DS. So like we said with conversazione, it's said with like a TS, and then if you were going to say 0, you'd say zero.
Okay.
And so that is basically it on pronunciation. And now I just have like very basic shit. This is going to be the fastest because I just could not do it with this book. I'm going to need a new Italian book.
Okay.
I literally have days of the week, numbers, greetings, titles, and family words.
I think that's fine.
And that's all I have.
I think that's fine.
I don't even have any verbs for you. I had like half of a verb conjugation when I did the letter H. That's all you get.
I think it's plenty.
Okay, so days of the week. You have lunedì, which is Monday. Martedì, which is Tuesday. Mercoledì, which is Wednesday. Giovedì, which is Thursday. Venerdì, which is Friday. Sabato, which is Saturday. And then Domenica, which is Sunday. And it's very similar to like, French and Spanish because it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
This is really funny to me, and it's not Italian at all. But what do you call it when something really bad happens on a Thursday?
What?
Tragedy.
That's funny.
Okay, and then to say week, you would say settimana. And then you have numbers: uno, due, tre, quattro, cinque, sei, sette, otto, nove, and 10.
Again, very similar to French.
Yes, very, very similar. So for greetings, to say good morning or good day, you would say buongiorno. And then to say good afternoon or good evening, you would say buonasera. And to say good night, you'd say buonanotte. To say hi or bye informally, you'd say ciao. To say hello, you'd say salve, just like in Latin. And then...
You guys couldn't see the gesture she just made, but I think she's wanting her notebook to talk to her.
I didn't write down what it meant. Because I'd never used it before.
Okay.
I was just like, it was part of it. Like, I've heard all the ones before then, and I was like, I know what these are. And then I got to the last one. I was like, the one that I'd never heard, I didn't write down what it translated to. Pleased to meet you.
Okay.
That makes sense.
What was
Piacere.
Okay.
Yeah. Piacere. Pleased to meet you.
Okay.
So then for titles, you have Signora, which is Mrs., Miss, or Madam. You have Signore, which is Mr. or Sir. And then you have Signorina, which is Miss or Madam. So like an unmarried person is what you would say that one to.
8.
We are the last one. Okay, and then so family words. So to say family...
Say something. Skylar's doing great. Everything, it's fine.
I'm so fine.
Going so well.
Okay, so to say family, you would say familia. And then to say son, you would say filio, daughter, filia, father, padre, mother, madre, sister, sorella, brother, fratello. And then to say like child or little boy, you would say bambino, little girl, bambina. And then to say a man, you would say uomo. And to say woman, you would say donna.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
I think that's plenty. It's still over an hour.
Yeah, that was mostly you.
Well, still, I think that was a good intro.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
It's fine.
It really is. Like, I know you're being sarcastic over there. But it really is fine.
Yeah, I will probably be buying a different Latin book or Latin Italian book. I don't know what's going on.
Skylar's fine.
I haven't even had any alcohol. I'm just
No alcohol. She has she's acting like she's about to freeze to death. She has 2 blankets draped over her, drinking a fucking smoothie.
Yep.
It's fine here. Thanks for listening.
We're doing so great.
So maybe you learned something.
If not, you at least learned.
What?
I was trying to figure out how to sum up the very first paragraph I said.
How would you sum it up?
I don't know. That Italian is a Romance language and that English is not. It's a West Germanic Indo-European language, but they're the core. I don't know. I don't
Maybe you
even
just
care.
learned that America steals everything, but you probably already knew that. 'Cause
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
We just reiterated.
Something you don't know is next week is our last episode of the season.
Yes.
So, there's that. You
that,
did learn something.
There's that segue. It was so good.
I know. I'm a pro.
You are a pro at
Yeah.
the use of a sagoo.
Yep. I'm a Sagoo queen.
So shall we spin for our last episode of season 2?
We should. And this might feel like a very short season, and you're right. But it's fine. Okay, well, this is kind of funny.
We haven't done it at all this season, have we?
Once at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. What a way to end it. It
We're
comes
just bookended.
full circle.
Bookended.
Bookended it.
So we got cooking. Yay?
It's Brittany's turn to pick, so yay.
Okay.
And I'm also going to let you pick the drink.
Great.
You can pair it with the food.
Oh, I won't. Don't put that pressure on me.
So we got cooking and we'll be drinking red wine.
Oh, okay. Red wine and cooking. So I need to do stuff I don't really eat that much. Great. But yeah, so that'll be our season finale. It could go a lot of fucking ways.
Maybe we'll fall in love because we still have so many of those questions to get through.
I think we're done with the questions.
Are we done with the questions? We're going to have to come up with questions.
I think so. We're going to have to figure, I was about to say, this could go so many fucking ways because I don't know what we're going to do because I think we're done with our questions.
Oh, I thought we still had questions.
No. I think we barreled through them. I mean, we could still fall in love. It's always on the table. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe she broke her edible straw. That's the only bad thing about them. Yeah. Is when they get to a certain point, it's so easy to break them. Maybe I'll just make us make something really off the fucking wall. I don't know.
Oh, good.
Who knows?
Maybe I'll try Brussels sprouts.
I gotta pair it with red wine, so... But anyway, if that sounds interesting, that's where we'll be.
Mm-hmm. I'm just eating my edible straw.
I know, I'm just waiting for you to do your outro.
I know. So if you'd like to find us, I don't know why, but if you would, we are at Sip and Spin Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the whole 9. If you'd like to email us, you can email us at sipandspinpod@gmail.com. If you'd like to find Brittany, her ats are Whimsy Dream or Whimsy Dreams. If you'd like to find me, I'm at Gleam YKS on everything. But our 3 link trees will be down in the description below.
Yeah. And Skylar says she doesn't know why you'd want to find us, but according to our Spotify Wrapped, we have very loyal fans. So you guys keep listening to us. I don't know what that means. I think it says more about you as a collective than it does about us.
Yeah, do you need therapy?
Because we're not it.
No, I mean, do you need therapy because of listening to us?
I thought they're troubled. So they come to us and we don't help. But yes, so we're gonna cook something.
Hey, I did my part.
And Skylar's gonna stir that fucking straw in the background. And it's gonna be great audio.
Listen, I'm never bringing a smoothie here again.
And on that note, we thank you for listening to this kind of weird, wild episode. And Skylar wasn't even drunk, so...
No, I think I'm just in a manic episode, I think, is probably what's happened.
We look forward to sipping some red wine with you on our season finale next week.
Yay! It'll be fun. Yeah. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, and even though the podcast will be taking a short break, after next week, YouTube will still be consistent. So definitely find us there.
Yeah, please check out our YouTube channel. We post gaming videos every Tuesday.
And currently we are doing Coral Island. So we have one up and one will be up. Or, yeah, two will be up now. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Two and then maybe a little something else.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
You have to come to our YouTube channel and watch the videos and subscribe to know what all stuff we've got planned for the future.
Yes. But, either way, thank you.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.